Hi everyone, this is Mike Farney, SEO and Analytics Manager with Eagle Dream Technologies. Are you interested in learning more about how your customers are using your website during COVID-19? Stay tuned, I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to help you get that information out of your Google Analytics account. Hi everyone, this is Mike Farney, SEO and Analytics Manager with Eagle Dream Technologies. I want to talk to you today a little bit about data-driven marketing during COVID-19, maybe give you a few pointers on how to gather some data and information about your customers during this remarkable period we're living through. So some of the things I want to cover today, I want to kind of set the stage for you, tell you a little bit about how we got here. I want to show you some examples of how we can gather some data about your customers in Google Analytics and Google Search Console. And I also want to point out, what to look for, and then what we should be looking for next. So let's set the stage. It all started with the World Health Organization making an announcement on March 11th this year about COVID-19 being a global pandemic. And that really set off a series of events that affected a lot of businesses. So shortly after that, the president created a travel ban or started a travel ban with European countries, and then I think ultimately some other countries. And then shortly after that, New York State and other state governors made an announcement to close all non-essential businesses and required people to work from home if possible. So these events just changed everything for a lot of businesses out there, some very positive and some negative. So some of the things that we see here in search behavior, on the left, what we see is a chart that represents activity on Google My Business listings. So these are if you have a business online and you do a search on that business, Google My Business will have a box with information about your business on the right-hand side of the search results page. And from there, you can get, you can make a phone call, you can click to the website, you can do a lot of different things, get directions to that location, whatever. So this graph is measuring that level of activity after the announcement on March 11th. So you can see there are industries that are up quite a bit: groceries, alcohol, of course, financial. There's some that have been impacted a little bit less, that are in the middle there. And then of course at the end, there's some businesses that have been hit really hard: food and beverage, restaurants, and event-based businesses just have taken a beating in this post-March 11th announcement. Also on the right, we see some stats on year-over-year searches for grocers and other places that are more venue-based, like hotels and theme parks and stuff like that. So you can see there were definitely some winners and definitely some losers, but even the winners had to adjust their business. And there were some, like the example I'm showing you here, restaurants, who appeared to be losers, but there was still an opportunity for them. So shortly after the World Health Organization announcement, restaurants had to close their doors. And you can see here on the graph to the right, there were searches, a lot of searches that used to be done on restaurants near me. And then after March 11th, they took quite a bit of quite a nosedive there. But on the flip side, people were doing lots of searches for curbside pickup. So there was still a demand for food, but attitudes changed. Of course, we couldn't go into the restaurant, so folks wanted to get that either curbside or have it delivered. So demand shifted, and a lot of the business went out the door through Grubhub or curbside pickup. And if restaurants adapted to that, they're going to tend to be one of the winners. So it's a good example of how some restaurants saw the data and reacted to it, and they're going to be able to survive through this pandemic that we're dealing with right now. So some of the things I want to talk about are website page views. These are really easy to look at in Google Analytics. It gives us an idea of what pages people are looking at on your website. Site searches, I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but this is when people come to do searches on your website, and it gives us a little bit of information. And then, of course, Google searches. What are people searching for on Google with respect to your website? So these are 3 good areas to really look at when you're trying to get some customer intelligence. So let's talk about the first one. This one is the Google Analytics page views. So if you come over to the left-hand side here, you can see that under Google Analytics, if you go into behavior and then site content and then all pages, you'll get to this section where all the traffic for the different pages on your site are represented. Over on to your right here, you'll see this date range where we've put in this case, I put in March 10th. We should probably put in March 11th, but March 10th to today, and then compare it to either month over month, the same period previously, or year over year, the same time period the previous year. And then when we get that information, you come down here, you can see there are different comparisons by page and date range. And then what we're looking for are variations plus or minus 30%. So if we're going up above 30% year over year, or month over month, or below, it's something we want to probably pay attention to and look at and say, why are these pages getting more traffic or less traffic after the March 11th announcement? And that will give us some clues as to what's going on with our website and how people, visitors, customers, prospects are reacting to our website and our business in the new environment. So the next one is site search. So on your website, and in this case, it's our Eagle Dream site, most sites have a search function where you can go, there's a little hourglass on our site. You can click on that, and then you get this box here, and you can put in a search. And this is important for marketers because you can really learn about what people are looking for if they can't find what they're looking for right away on your homepage or through the navigation. This gives you some clues as to what people are interested in. So in Google Analytics, if you integrate Google Analytics with your site search on your website, you can get some really valuable information. In this case, what I've done is I've shown you a report. It's under behavior, site search, and search terms. And in this case, I'm showing some results where people put in Corona on a website and got no results. So this is important because this shows that people are interested in getting information about your business regarding COVID. For instance, what's your policy on COVID? Are you open for business? You know, they're trying to find out what's happening, but we're serving up 0 search results. So that's a problem. We need to address that. We need to make sure that people who are doing that search get a result and they're learning about how we're dealing with COVID as a business. So it doesn't always have to be COVID. It can be something else. In the finance industry, people are looking more and more for mortgage rates or trying to skip a payment or something like that. These are examples of increases that you may see after March 11th that maybe weren't there before, but now they've become very important. And these are things you need to pay attention to in your own business, in your own site search. And hopefully this report will give you some clues as to what's going on. And then lastly, we have Google Search Console. Google Search Console is provided by Google. And if you claim your site in Google Search Console, you can get Google search query data. It tells you how often your site is appearing in searches. They call that impressions, and how many times people are clicking through. And you get, when you get into your Google Search Console, if you go into performance, and then you look at a date compare, where you compare the date range from before March 11th and then after, you can start to get some comparisons on how often you were getting impressions for particular queries and how many clicks you were getting for those impressions. So there's some real good search intelligence you can get about your customers or prospects that tell you what they're really interested in. So it's a really good tool to kind of get an idea of what's happening. So some of the things we want to look for are increases and decreases in page views. Like I said, plus or minus 30%, you want to take notice to that. You want to look for very specific site searches, so around COVID or COVID-related issues. Pay attention to that. Site searches can give you some real insight into how people are interacting with your website. And then lastly, COVID-19 related Google searches. Go on Google Search Console and really take a look at what kind of queries or searches people are doing and how that relates and is different for your business in the new COVID-19 world that we're living in. So what's next? I mean, right now we're just coming out of, I think, the initial shock of what's happened with COVID-19. I think there was a lot of folks out there who almost kind of panicked and said, okay, I gotta shut down all my marketing or sales activity and save money. And you know, it's understandable, but we still have customers, we still have people that need our help. They may be changing their attitudes and how they see the world, but there's still an opportunity to sell and market to those folks. And so how are we going to transition into whatever this new normal is? So there are going to be lots of changes at each stage here, but we need to listen to our customers, gather as much data intelligence as we can about the customers. I've only hit on 3 very small ways, but there are many different ways. Engage your web analytics. Also spend some time with business intelligence. If you're a larger organization, you probably have Salesforce data, you probably have logistics data, financials data, even some manufacturing data. These are often in many different systems in larger organizations, and building data lakes or data warehouses and reporting on that data can give you some real insights into customers' buying habits and what their attitudes are in this new world that we live in. So these are all things that Eagle Dream can help you with, and we're happy to take any questions or help you out with any issues that you might have. But we want everybody to keep thinking about their customers, keep gathering information, and stay safe, be healthy, and we'll make it through all this together and make it into whatever this new normal is. Thanks for listening today, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.